Hello, everybody. If you were watching the last disastrous attempt, my audio wasn't working. Think I've got it fixed now. If anybody sees this, if you can't hear me, let me know. This is our second streamed event on guides.
And tonight's exciting topic, can anyone connect with their spirit guide? This is our second of 3 talks about spiritual guides. Tonight we'll be covering spirit guides can be accessible to anyone, everyone, with practice. Developing a connection, of course, requires openness and intention. Listen and learn, and maybe even contribute.
So, to be honest, this is going to be more of a training event than a debate, because I can't debate myself. Devi, unfortunately, can't be with us tonight. This is a short message from Devi.
Hi, this is Debbie. I'm so sorry I can't make it today, but unfortunately my husband is very ill and in the ICU. I promise to be back as soon as humanly possible. Have a great time with Just Mark today.
Debbie's husband, Bob, is not doing very well in hospital. So if you are seeing this at any point, I'm going to do something a little bit unusual, which I did do by myself last time. Please join me in a healing prayer. Dear Father, Mother, Spirit, please help us to channel healing energy to Bob, who is on a critical list at the moment, and also emotional support to Devi. Thank you. Amen. And as you probably realize, this is my second attempt to do this streamed event. You don't realize how much you depend on somebody until they're not here. Okay, so I'm going to start just with usual bits and pieces news. Now, we've been talking over the last couple of weeks about a new streamed event that I'm going to be doing, not with Devi, but with my wife Ying. That's Walks in Scotland on Sunday. 2 of us, weather permitting, there's inches of snow outside just now, like at the weekend, usually Sunday, to go out and go around old houses, old castles. Historically, we have tended to take pictures and share them with people in our training groups, and they love them, most of them being Americans wishing they could come to Scotland. So here's a video, just a very short demonstration of the kind of places that we'll be showing on those streamed events.
So earlier in the year, in January, I bought myself the DJI something or other. DJI Osmo 3, and it's a brilliant camera. Unfortunately, because I bought it in China, I didn't have the app, therefore I couldn't get it working properly. I've now upgraded to this piece of equipment.
This is still DJI.
Yep, same company, love it so much. This is more for using with the mobile phone, and I'm going to be using this for live broadcasts, Walks with Mark and Ying on Sunday, where we're going to show you on our streamed broadcast places in Scotland. Yes, we're egomaniacs. We love being on camera. So this is Blackness Castle, typical of the places that Ying and I will be visiting. A very old castle with a lot of history, and I'm not going into it today because all I'm doing today is just testing the equipment as a matter of does this work or not.
I don't think it's
Yingpeng podiatrist, showing that she can do more with her hands than look after your feet.
See, this is secret door. You want to switch?
No, alright. Yes, my wife does sometimes forget which language she's thinking of speaking in, and it does get a bit confusing for those of us that don't speak Chinese, but never mind. That's a story for another day.
Original used to be original.
I can't count. There are 3 bridges.
Yes, one is building is 19th century, and then 20th century, and then 21st century. So 3 bridges represent. You can see I'm a cold person,
A very cold person.
but under the sunshine, it's beautiful.
Okay, what else can I tell you about? We've got one more streamed event coming up about guides. This is Wednesday, this is Sunday, sorry. So that'll be on Wednesday. Then we're starting 3 guides on actually developing mediumship skills. Now, we're not going to be doing mega hands-on training. It's more just a bullet pointed list of things you should be doing as a developing medium, or if you want to be a developing medium. One other little bit of news, you probably know I've got a website, markstewartmedium.com, just that name with medium.com. As a Scottish medium, obviously that's what I call myself, I'm always talking about spiritualism in Scotland, always talking about spirits in Scotland and such like. I find it quite amusing on my website to have a page of Americans talking about Scotland. That's Americans that have actually been to Scotland. And I've just added a new video, which I actually found quite interesting to watch myself. Let me just put it on.
If you take a moment to look closely at the map of Edinburgh, it won't take long to see it split in 2.
There's a very clear division between the old town and the new town.
Between the 2 is this garden, but if we're just looking top down at a map like this, we're missing more than half the story.
They're divided by this big depression in the ground.
It's a very well done video. He uses a book which is based on a very old map of Edinburgh. The downtown Edinburgh area is divided up into 2 very clear, distinct areas, the old town and the new town. Now, don't let the expression new town confuse you. It dates back about 250 years. Whereas the old town dates back about 500, 600, 700 years or further. Goes through the map, gives videos. He's actually got the man that wrote the book coming on as a historian talking about it. So it's well worth watching. It's well worth looking at. Just go to my website, markstewartmedium.com, look for the page Americans Talking About Scotland, and you'll find that and a lot of other videos to have a look at. Now, I can't debate by myself, so if there's anybody watching, please make a comment and join me in the debate. Anyway, let's get back to the main topic. So, this is our second streamed about guides. Now, if you want to know what a guide is, I'm not going to go through that tonight. That was last streamed event, so go find that video on Facebook and you'll find that in detail. What we're talking about today is if you have guides, and you want to talk to those guides, what should you be doing? Okay, first thing you've got to do, and this is an absolute, join a development circle and attend it on a regular basis. Now, I'm not doing this as a plug for ourselves, but yes, we do a circle immediately after the streamed event and immediately after the streamed event we do on Wednesday. That's UK times 11 o'clock, Wednesday and Sunday. Well, this is where I miss Debbie because she can reel the times off like that. But basically deduct 5 hours for American Eastern, 6, 7, 8 hours up to Pacific Zone, or find a development circle to sit in. It's just a case of absolute practice. When your guides think you're ready to talk to you, they will talk to you. They will come forward, they will present themselves just like any other spirit. Once you've connected with your guides, you should be able, whether you're open or closed, to recognize when they're communicating with you, and you can initiate conversations with them. I know who my principal guide is. Not going to go into a lot of details about him. Historical character, actually, but I can start a conversation with him like that. I want his opinion. I want his help. I just reach out spiritually, and I can engage him in a conversation. Now, I've been sitting in circle off and on. I've been running circles. I'm not even going to start guessing when I sat in the first circle, but certainly 16, 17 years ago. And I've been running circles consecutively for about 5 years. So I do a lot of, let's say, arm push-ups in the gym spiritually. So don't expect to be able to do it as well as I do straight away. But trust me, sit in the circle often enough, get some guidance from the person that's doing the circle, and you will meet your guides. When will you meet them? Like, how will you meet them? I suppose that's the next point. Guided meditation. Now, if you're sitting in a development circle, and if it's a good circle, they will be doing guided meditations. You can find guided meditations out with the circle. For example, I've got a YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, search for Mark Stewart Medium. There's about 135 odd videos there, but there's about 10 or 11 guided meditation videos. Sit through those. You can find, or just do a search on YouTube for guided meditations. You will find lots of mediums putting guided meditations out. Some people like my meditations, some people don't. Find guided meditations that you like. The next thing you should be doing is keeping a journal. This is a general point for anybody that's developing. Basically, keep the journal. It's not a diary, although I suppose you could describe it as a diary, but anything that feels spiritual, any events that feel spiritual, make a note of them, record them, so that you can come back later on and look at them. Why? Well, in the initial communications that your spirits have, they'll give you signs. All forms of mediumship, all mediums are different. I can't sit here and give you a checklist of your medium will say this, sorry, your guide will say this, your guide will do that, your guide will say this. I can certainly sit here and give you examples of how guides can communicate with you. But essentially, it's like normal mediumship. Now, again, as I said, every medium is different. Every person is different in terms of how they receive signals from guides, from spirit. But what you'll receive from your guide is pretty much the same as what you would receive from a spirit. So if spirits are communicating with you through motion, for example, then your guides will communicate with you in the same way. Quite often, your guides are acting like the medium to the spirit. They're enabling the spirits to communicate with you. I know that sounds a bit weird, but that is sometimes how it works. Now, it might be that you're sitting in circle, going back to the circle, and the medium that's leading the circle says, that was a sign from your guide, and you suddenly sit there and say, oh, I got something 2 years ago that was identical to that. You go and get the journal, you leaf through the pages, and you read what you've written down, and surprise, surprise, it's exactly what happened to you in the circle. Memory's bad. So that's why it helps to write down in detail the kind of things that you're experiencing, so that the next time it happens, you'll know it's a guide that's speaking to you. Okay, so all of that sounds as though it's taking time. And yes, we're not just talking about guides here, we're talking about any kind of spiritual development, any kind of training. It does take time. There's no point sitting there for 6 years and trying to get your guides to come through and nothing happening. You've got to work your way through the list that I just gave you. Go to the circle, do guided meditations, be aware and get help from a trainer in helping you to analyze the signs that you're getting. Do the work, and trust me, you will hear from spirit and you will make contact. Now, given that we started late, given that it's just me that's talking, I'm going to end at that point because I've pretty much said everything I want to say without moving into what we should be talking about on the third streamed event. I don't know if Debbie will be back by then or not. It really depends on, she's visiting her husband in hospital every day. She's spending time with her husband. So really, there's nothing I can say except just leave it there. Please, as I said earlier, when you see this, send your support to Debbie. Other than that, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you for watching. Remember, wherever you do watch, to support us by subscribing. Come back for the next event. If you want to know about the 2 events that we do every week, the subjects that we're going to be covering in each one, subscribe to the newsletter. That's where to find it. Simple form. If you want to come to the circles, go to that website, fill out the form, and you'll get emails inviting you back to the circle that you book for. You can book directly onto the Wednesday or the Sunday. That's pretty much about it, folks. So I shall leave you this time with volume so you can actually hear what I've been saying. And apologies again for starting late and for the abysmal attempt I made the first time. Just goes to prove I really do rely on Debbie. Thank you. Good night.